Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Paintbology 101 with your Professor Joe Barrett, teaching you a little bit of textbook paintball. Today's going to be part 2 of Snakeside Breakouts. Last time I told you guys just how to basically give a little bit of variance and route so they can't predict where a player is going to, not always having the front player being the widest guy out. Right now I'm basically going to build upon the Snakeside Breakout in terms of secondary moves, audibles, and basically ways to perfect it once you've learned out how to break out on that side of the field. So basically I want to explain right now is textbook paintball moves. There's a lot of moves in paintball that you can basically just predict situationally, and a good paintball team plays so the other team plays reactively off them. You want to attack first and basically dictate the pace of the game and have the other team try to react to you. A very good team or very good players are able to anticipate exactly what those reactions are going to be and make the win that much easier based off it. For example, when you shoot a wide player off Snakeside off break, you can almost guarantee the second or third player in, the insert or the back guy, depending on where the insert ended up off break, are going to try to fill back out to that side of the field. No team is going to try to win with around half of the field or less. Basic paintball ideology is take as much field as possible, spread it, and find better angles that way, and it's easier to win. So you can basically guarantee that somebody is going to re-spread that field, most likely to the corner for damage control to get a second guy out of that back center this way and then come up the field, but he might just attack right back into the snake depending on the player, their tendencies, or the way the layout plays. So basically, how to play that reaction is knowing that someone is going to refill that spot. You're going to move to a spot where you can anticipate that fill and guarantee the free kill. I like to call it a free kill because you're not risking a gunfight, you don't have to get dominance back, you don't have to work to another spot, you don't have to move. Basically, you're going to get this other kill off of your first kill as long as you just think about it, or as long as you know this basically, so you don't have to think about it in the game. That's what I'm basically trying to do here, is make it a subconscious move that just happens. If A, then B. Because paintball can be very equational if you look at it without all the individual little styles added to it by the players in their bunkers. If you look at the big picture, it can be taught textbook because little tendencies like this always happen in the game. Nobody puts all 5 of their guys up the center of their field on a layout because that's stupid. The other team's going to be much wider than you, have more field around you, and unless you're ridiculous gunfighters, you're not going to win that game. So when I shoot that front player off break, and I know if A, I shoot the front player, then B, a player is going to fill, I'm going to want to put myself in a better position to get that kill or to contain that side so it doesn't get refilled. Either one of those win, basically. Hopefully I get him on a G, that's bingo 2 at least. Hopefully somebody shots him on the other side of the field. But on that side of the field, that's bingo 2. If I lost no one, I'm in a 5-on-3, and just bodies alone, I should be winning that point pretty much no matter what every time. But there's equations like this basically all over the field that I could point them out. So if you don't get that kill, basically if I get that kill, first one, A, then B, I'm going to move to a better spot to contain that side of the field. If C, the player never tries to run out and spread this side of the field because he's smart enough to know he doesn't want to throw his body away, then all you do is sit and do this one job. You don't switch around, you don't look for kills, you don't probe, you don't wrap. There should be someone over here, not the snake front player, someone moving, but there should be someone over here that knows my job is now to contain snake side of the field, and that's all they do. And whether they get a kill or the game ends with them just shooting their pack dry at that wall and no one ever filled wide on that side of the field, they did their job right, and that's a win for them. So let's talk about basically common sense A to B moves and where they should be coming from. Here's another one. So if I am this secondary guy, the 2, let's say you have your 1, your 2, and your 3 went to the guy who tried to go snake off break. And you shoot someone downfield, your 2 does not move up the center of the field to cut this off. It should come for your 3. Let me explain why. Your 3 goes to move into the snake, and he gets G. Your second guy moved up the field to cut it off from that much closer. He wanted to be up here to shoot this lane. Now, your problem is, your second snake attacker is not in a spot where he can reinsert in the snake. At that point, he was pretty much hoping his snake player was going to stay alive or make it in there and start getting up that side of the field while they were dead. But if the other team has shooters that are containing him still, and you make a move up the middle too early, now your back player is going to have to basically either do damage control across behind you, and the problem with that is if you lose somebody on the other side of the field, your back, your central player he's responsible over there as well. That's why you call these guys the 2s, because although you could lose a back guy and these guys can cut through the center of the field, they can close through the center, whatever, there's a reason they are the snake insert. And it's because eventually they are supposed to insert in the snake. So a good move for this guy, if you get this wide G, would be if wide guy is killed off break, shoot your way to the corner and wrap and contain the outside. When you wrap and contain the outside, you're going to take away that much more space to live and fight out of their bunkers from the second guy out on this side of the field, or the third guy out, the insert at the back center, and now you're going to free up your back guy. See, when your third guy makes it into the snake or a wide spot, and your second player is able to get to the sides of the field and contain rather than heads up, your front player or your middle player is freed up to either follow a snake player in and look for hopper kills. You can start playing the other side of the field, or you can start going up the gut and start wrapping on people stuck in the pocket. And that's basically what you want to happen. This is going to get a little bit confusing unless I start erasing stuff. To finish that thought, if you shoot a wide guy off break and somebody should get up to a better spot in the field that locks it down that much better, it should be this third guy. It should be your middle guy going up the field. What that allows is for you to go up there and have the player who was already supposed to be doing that job from the get-go to do his job and not have a worry about losing their snake attack. You know, if you lose your snake guy, now you still have a second guy floating back here somewhere that can bump his way in, and your first guy can go up and, you know, get funneled into the middle of the field. But if your second guy goes up there and they decide to start containing this side of the field, now you're basically all going to be funneled up in the middle of the field, and that's not something you really want to do. So let's talk about another situation. All right, so let's talk about more situations that you can break down into if A then B equations. You know, these are still just very basic fundamental things that you'll still often watch D3 or regional paintball teams not react and do immediately and then lose games because of it. And they seem simple and elementary, but if you can just take away the thought about it during the game and just make it an instant reaction, that's going to make it a lot easier for your team. And I kind of have to break that down a little bit further because, for example, if you lose this front guy off a break and you're the insert guy, you know you have to fill wide, but that doesn't mean you just instantly do what happens, because there could be somebody set up just holding a lane for you to go through. They're expecting that. You know, think back to the anticipation thing I was talking about. They know they're containing the side of the field. So it might take a little bit of fighting to get out of that bunker. It might take some timing. It might take watching, you know, till the paint goes down. It might take making it happen yourself and edging your way out to that corner. But the point is, one way or another, you know that if you don't inevitably get back out to this side of the field, you're going to lose on this side of the field. It might even take a while. You might be able to hold it if you have, you know, a good amount of paint and good, you know, zone control. But the side that you're going to lose on is the side that you have no presence on. So basically, you can still make it an argument that if something happens, this is what needs to happen. That's basically just how I'm going to sum that up. So let's talk about when your snake player is in the snake, what to do based off of where they are downfield. First thing you should know, obvious equation. If they get in the snake and you're the insert guy, you should be coming out to this corner if the corner controls the wire. You know, on a field like this, not all fields even control the wire, so we've had plenty this year in the PSP where that wouldn't really do much, but on a field where you can watch the tape or at least somewhat watch over your snake front player from a corner bunker, you know you have to get out there when they get in the snake. Let's say this snake has a gap in it somewhere. Maybe there's less of an argument to do that now because one of your midfield bunkers can shoot the gap and stop their snake player from moving any further. But on a straight ladder snake, the only place to stop movement at all is on the wire. So unless your snake front player is staying on the wire all game, which he probably shouldn't be doing, you need someone back here containing this tape side zone. Let's say no one gets in the snake with him. Now you basically kind of have, you know, free range. You need to come out behind him, but if nobody's out dead even with him, you can come out to a bunker, one bunker back behind him, and just stay heads up. If you've already shot the widest player out and the next nearest one is one bunker inside from you, like you're at this tower and he's at this can, then that's a good situation right there. That's a situation where that player is already running out of room in his bunker from your side of the field, and now he has to fight into your two guns to get out here while playing tight from the other side of the field. If you can get out to the corner to wrap further in, even better. If you can get out into the snake and wrap a snake notch rather than playing it inside or down the wire for your snake player, even better. Now your snake player can go all the way down the wire while you come in behind him and start shooting for hoppers or whatever else on the side of the field. The big thing to do here is remember your direction. When you come in here as a snake insert player or a snake side player, anybody but that middle guy that could be going either way, you are focused on snake side. You know, you're trying to win this battle on the snake side. A lot of times that means getting to the 50 or crossing it to get those easy kills on packs and sides out of the Dorito side or the center of the field. But a lot of what that means if you're playing the field right is winning on your side of the field. You know, killing the guy that's heads up from you and then keeping this side of the field empty while you move forward. If you're going down the snake side, you're going to have shots on Dorito side players, but as that insert guy, you can realize that your front guy is going to have much better shots from you down the field, so your job is still to worry about snake side. And even if the next nearest guy is back center, that's going to be a snake side guy eventually if you don't keep an eye on him. So you need to stay on that job and allow your front player to look for those other kills. Don't get greedy with it. Let's say you've had this breakout happen where your snake player makes it in. They did not make it in the snake, but you didn't get a bingo. Maybe he's just pent up in the nearest insert bunker, the God bunker, or the corner. You have your insert guy coming out behind you. If your insert guy is able to contain his mirror heads up, or whatever the widest thing is while this player is going down, your back player is now freed up to go to that better containment bunker. And that's normally somewhere in the middle of the field. They always put towers or cans halfway to the X. Those are strong bunkers where you've cut down the gap that much more and made it that much more difficult for their players to make any kind of fills or inserts. So if A, you shoot the wide guy off break and your two players make it alive, you know, you don't lose one of the guys where you're going to have to filter out and become an insert player, then your middle player can go up to, say, this bunker right here and shoot this zone. Now, even if this God bunker is able to put in his mirror, your insert player, and try to move out to mirror up with your snake player, he dies in the lane right here. It's almost a free kill. It's like a game. If these guys didn't make this, you need this guy to be back here as an audible. But if he does make this, you're going to put this guy in a spot where not only is it a much easier to zone control from up here, but if a player decides to get a little bit froggy or freestyle in his bunker to work his way past his mirror, let's say from the God or corner, you're close enough to where you can probably shoot that guy right out of his bunker too. It's a much closer shot than shooting at him from back center where he'll literally watch your lane form downfield and probably be able to tuck it and avoid it. You know, it's just not a guaranteed kill from that far away. So why you want this gun up here is for the last situation that you'll see constantly. And this is one that should be subconscious once again. It's just it's easy. It wraps up the game much quicker than it has to. And this, when you're in the snake alone, I'm going to break down each of the possible situations that could happen. If you get into the snake alone to start off, and nobody is out here, let's say your back and insert player did their job and shot everything going to the snake side of the field, whether it was a snake runner and a corner, just one of them, whatever. If nothing is out past, let's say, this pocket bunker, and you're in the snake, your job right now is to go as far as you can. And hopefully you have a ladder snake like this where you can go uncontested. If you're in a ladder snake like this, you should know that unless someone is in there heads up with you or someone is in the corner, there's nothing stopping you. You know, unless you're crawling too high off the ground or you have a huge pack on or something like that, and someone's in the X shooting down at you and they're kind of tall, there shouldn't really be a physical way for someone to stop you from moving notch to notch on the snake. Why you want to move down is simple. If you're in there and your players are contained this side of the field, you have all the time in the world to work these notches and pinch people out of their bunkers. But your angle from back here at snake 1 or even snake 2 on, let's say, this insert Dorito or whatever would be on this Dorito side in actuality, is not nearly as good as the angle you would have up here at the 50 or past it. So why are you going to take the extra few minutes to play the entire snake when you could get to the spot where all those shots are at the same place and win this point much, much quicker? So basically, no one's out here at all. You're going to go all the way down to their snake 1 and you're going to wrap. And you're going to wrap because not only are you going to kill the guy who's trying to get out this way and fighting your players heads up downfield, but in doing that one move, you're going to also be a thorn in the side that everybody across field has to look at. And even if they can stay alive from you behind their gun, shooting at whatever notch you are on their side of the snake, you're taking them off what they're supposed to be doing. One of these guys over here is probably supposed to be containing this Dorito side of the field, not keeping himself alive, shooting at you. One of these guys up the Dorito side of the field should be worrying about attacking and shooting out your back and insert players rather than shooting back over his shoulder at you. So what you gotta understand is, once you get up that far, whether you can get kills or not isn't really what matters. The point is, that's where you're supposed to be in terms of field position. Let's say somebody gets out to this side of the field, but they don't get in the snake. Let's say they get in the corner. You should still not be messing around with these first few notches. You know, you should be either shooting down the wire and moving while you do it, or you should be getting your insert guy into the corner or somewhere where he can support you and help you get down the field. And at this point, you should still be going at least to the 50, if not into their side of the snake. Depending on the snake and how long it is, and the layout and the clusters from crossfield, it's, you know, I can't say whether it's always a good or bad decision to go as far down as you can, because at certain points you might be close enough to that corner that he can run you down and live with you, not even trade out, but run you down. And let's say you're in his snake 1, if you're within 20 feet or so, he may be able to clear that gap in like a second or two, take you out and live, and change the game around, you know, basically just completely change the momentum of the game based on position. So you don't want to be over aggressive and get right in front of the one person over here. But if there's one person alive on this side of the field and he's the last one, or what I like to call the island, you should basically know that there'll be one, if not two guys from the center or crossfield that are killing or keeping him contained so he doesn't insert any further, or they're trying to shoot him out to clear this side out for you anyways. With that being said, you should be trying to get to that 50 or past it with him there. Just be wary, you know, don't die down the wire. Don't forget about him. If you know you're playing with coaching, you'll probably know when he's coming for you. But a lot of times without coaching, you'll have to relay back to your insert player and just let him know, hey, keep him honest, stay over me. You know, are you still shooting at him? And that's why you have conversations with your players. The last thing is when one player is in that snake with you. What do you do? When someone's in the snake with you, now you kind of can't just crawl down to the other end. But if you can figure out who's alive around him, you can play this situation just based on the numbers and help your team win the game, whether you live through the game or not. For example, if one player makes in the snake with you and nobody else is there behind him, his insert player is shot off break, he's the only guy on this side of the field, all it's going to take is for you to just at least trade out with him to give your insert player this entire side of the field. And then he has free reign, and you're going to win on this side of the field. If he has an insert player behind him, however, you see the situation changes. Now you can't just trade, because although, unless you're up bodies or, the situation looks better in terms of field position for your side of the team, you in Snake 2 going and trading out with their Snake 2 player still just puts it at, let's just say, a 4-on-4, and that didn't really do anything better or worse for you. It's kind of comes to one of those things where it's making a good move, but not necessarily the right move. And that's basically the situation. That's why I'm trying to point these out, is what the right move is each time. So if you have a second guy in front of you, you basically still want to beat him up the field. You want to beat him to the 50, hopefully get those shots first while he's being contained. If you know he's not really being contained, or someone's not really able to contain him from your corner, or not out there in the corner to do it yet, then you need to get upfield, but you need to now play heads up with him, because he's the nearest threat. And why you're going to do that is because he's the guy who can quickly he's the closest to kill you. He can launch, whether it be on the highway and the tape, and come to at least trade out with you. Whereas if you're shooting across this Dorito player and he comes out to shoot at you, all you have to do is get low in that snake and you're going to live. He really can't affect you. Yet you're affecting him because he has to think about you the entire time. So when there's 2 people alive or 3 people alive still on the side of the field, you as the snake front player need to still get up the snake as far as you possibly can, but then at that point you protect yourself from the nearest possible threat. I hope that makes some of these textbook paintball situations more clear, and hopefully you can see them from a bird's eye point of view when they're going down the field around you next time, and have better success during these situations. Stay tuned for next episode.